Whether we think the cup is good or bad or should continue or how it affects the schedule, all of those things are secondary to me. I'm more worried about my visual experience watching these crazy courts and trying to keep track of it. This is one of my oldest man takes. Like, I just can't be that stimulated.
It's a little epileptic sometimes.
I feel like I gotta put my readers on when I'm watching these games.
It can be. It's grown on me. But one thing I will say, I don't like the cop-outs. I don't like the courts that are just gray. Take me to the pits of hell. I want the Rockets. I want the Indiana.
Miami.
Yeah. I love Miami.
It's the most Miami.
I want something of like, you clearly thought about this for a very long time, or you woke up, asked your 4-year-old what's their favorite color, and you said, let's go.
They just did it.
Go.
They just did it. They jumped on Microsoft Paint and just knocked it out. Yeah.
What do you think it's going to take for the Warriors Dynasty Chapter to close?
Well, it is closing as we speak. We just don't know exactly when it's going to end. And what we're hanging on to is the idea that we still have something left in the tank. And so we're trying to get one more.
Robert, Jason, welcome back. Happy holidays. It's our last show of the year.
It's been a great year.
It has.
I'm sad. I'm verklempt, but we'll figure it out with eggnog and all the things that the holidays bring.
Well, listen, I'm getting a gift for the end of the year because we're closing out with the NBA, talking about my favorite sport, basketball. Of course, we've got Christmas Day coming up. Really cool tradition the NBA has been doing since 1947, even though I don't love that the NFL is trying to get themselves.
I hate it. Don't point at me.
Oh, okay, cool. Talk to your friends over there. But I'm happy that the NBA got their own little spotlight on the NBA Cup in Vegas, where the Knicks just won a championship, y'all. Knicks back up, baby.
New York basketball.
Okay, there it is. It's a thing. It's a thing. We're going to dive into the NBA Cup. What exactly is it? Is it a good or bad thing? What does it mean for load management? And we're also going to talk about the state of the league as a whole. The Athletic, Sam Amick is here. Love every piece he writes on The Athletic, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about what's going on with the league overall. And I'm going to also sit down with Steve Kerr, legendary head coach, former player, of course, and just talk about what he's been seeing with this transition in the league in terms of the stars passing the baton on, and also what's he going to do when he passes the coaching baton on. You guys ready?
Let's get it.
I know both of you are. I feel it.
I can't wait. Let's do it. For once, the New York Knicks were the last team standing, okay? Not for the NBA Finals in June. For the NBA Cup, though. You got to respect the Cup.
That's right.
Okay?
Respect the cup.
And because of respecting the
Respect
Cup,
the
we've
cup.
got the Athletic Sam Amick here to help us break it all down and make sense of it all. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you
Appreciate
for coming. We actually saw each other in the casino,
Indeed.
walking back and forth between the games, or right before a game, I guess.
We got the same schedule this week, basically.
Yeah, basically. It was really nice being in the press conference rooms and all that. And
Everybody's smiling, so it feels like it's like one, too.
It was
Got to go to Vegas in December. It's 20 degrees outside right now.
The league's not stupid. They know what they're doing.
Exactly. It's like a nice little summit, okay? So at this summit, this time, the Knicks, what do you think of the win? Do you think their tournament tough? Like, finals tough?
I mean, first of all, Zena, I know you well enough that the smile on your face as you talked about the Cup, we know the tenor of this conversation, which is it's not a championship. I'm kind of mad at James Dolan for not hanging the banner. I think that's a mistake.
Likewise.
And also not consulting with his players, which is bad form. But
Absolutely.
to put that on the side, the Knicks are a really good team. They won this championship. I don't see them winning the whole thing. But the allure of the Cup that I do like is whether it's the Knicks, or the Bucks winning it in last year or the Lakers before that, it shows contending teams. So the Spurs are now considered one of those. New York's got a good squad. The vibes are good. It sends that message to ownership and the fans that we got something to be excited about. As I was sitting on press row in that game, Knicks win. The Spurs fan base, the Jackals as they call them, was pretty sad, disappointed. And it was like you were in the Garden. There was this Knicks fan right to my left, and he's just waving goodbye and having a good old time with his jersey. So for now, it's the best you can do in mid-December.
Let's go through the process of why the Cup is created and whether you think so far it's been what the league wanted it to be.
So backdrop would be that, the late David Stern obviously grew the league tremendously during his time. Passes the baton to Adam Silver. One of Adam's main tenets has been, how can we globalize this thing? And so the Cup is drawn from European soccer, the Champions League, all these different, football leagues that mastered the art of having something midseason that mattered. Now, the part where the NBA's got a long ways to go is that the history that comes with the Soccer Cup championships is such that those players, those coaches, they are fully invested. The fans truly care. Nobody's debating about hanging banners. So you're kind of trying to fake it till you make it with the NBA Cup. But, I think they're going in the right direction.
I know it's not for me as a current, 45-year-old NBA consumer, but 20 years down the line, the way that LeBron James celebrated that first one, I think 20 years down the line, you're going to want kids to be like, hey, I want to win the NBA Cup at some point. Sure. But an omnipresent issue at all times around the NBA in this generation is load management. John Hollinger discussed the NBA Cup and load management at length in a recent article. I happen to be a believer. Long careers mean they need rest. So how does the NBA rationalize adding more games when it might mean fans see less of their favorite players? I think I heard a stat the other day that star players are missing 1 out of every 3 games as opposed to 1 out of every 5 at least 3 or 4 years ago. So there's an issue there, and I think that a lot of people look at it as being lazy or they don't want to play, but there's actual physics and bodies involved in this situation and possessions and the style of play. How do you feel about load management right now in the league?
Tons of layers to the conversation. At my core, I'm a guy who grew up in the 80s watching Michael Jordan and would love for everybody to play 82. To your question about the schedule and the condensed nature of it in relation to the Cup, the league pushed back really hard on this the other day. Adam Silver in his press conference said categorically that the data does not support the idea that the schedule is more condensed, does not support the idea that the injuries are up. The nuance there on the injury front is that calf strains in particular are up, and you're talking about big-time star players, Giannis Antetokounmpo at the top of that list. And not only calf strains, but more extended time missed because of these calf strains. The other backdrop there is if you go back to the finals last year, Tyrese Halliburton, calf strain, followed by Achilles.
KD too, right?
KD in 2019.
KD,
Yeah.
Damian Lillard.
Damian Lillard.
There were 8 Achilles tears last year
Jason Tatum.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where,
Career-altering stuff.
Yeah.
if you look at some of the poster boys, so to speak, of this topic, Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid, players like that, as much as we criticize them in the past for sitting, you look up now, their careers are in danger of being shortened. And so, it has not aged well in terms of the simple idea that just get the hell out there and play.
The game's got a physics problem, I think, too. You mentioned the amount of possessions. It's as if we're asking a pitcher to pitch 2 more innings where we see pitchers sliding back their starting pitching workloads.
It's a great comparison.
If football added 5 minutes to a quarter, we'd see more injuries. Yeah. And also the style, too. Like James Harden made the step back and all these moves, really cool, but the wear and tear on the joints that happen from a lot of these movements that are, pretty relatively new to basketball in the last 10 to 12 years. There's a whole... It's a long list of things as to why players are getting hurt at the rate that they're getting hurt at. And we can also get into the specialization. People don't play other sports nowadays. So you're getting that power. I remember seeing Derrick Rose as an elementary and junior high school player being wrapped up like Allen Iverson. It's like, wait a minute, why is this kid all taped up? It's because he's playing so much basketball. So by the time you get to the league, next thing you know, you got thousands of games on your body. You didn't play baseball, you didn't play soccer, you didn't play football.
Playing AAU from the time you were 8 years old, tournaments every weekend, sheer amount of minutes.
And we just spin it as these players don't want to play, when in all actuality, their bodies are giving out on them because of the amount of possessions, because of the rate of play, because of how many games, and because of the lack of the rest they get. It's affecting the sport in a way that I don't think any other sport is being affected.
One thing I really struggle with the data that the NBA likes to propose is this, particularly the notion of like when the games are being scheduled, right? Okay, yes, it's been the same amount of games over a period of time. If a friend of mine get donuts, let's say we get 30 donuts, okay? And I eat mine all in the first week of the next 30 days, and my friend eats theirs one day at a time, I'm probably gonna get a stomach ache first, right? Like that's the issue.
What an analogy. That was amazing.
Like the 30 donut party, let's get it.
And so I'm just like, that part of the data doesn't make sense in terms of the calendar. But I do want to ask, you just talked about watching, basketball in the 80s. I wasn't there. I don't know.
I was young.
But I know that Michael Jordan has commented on this. He talked about the fact that he always wanted to play. And we know that these players, even today, like we've heard Joel Embiid talk about the fact that he's wanted to play. All these players, when they're doing load management, want to play. But what do we think about the physicality of this game and how it's leading them to having to sit, even when they don't want to play?
The physicality has taken a major uptick the past couple of years. I love it. It's not as physical as the 80s. But again, it's a question of, is it going to continue because you start integrating the load management conversation and the injuries? I think the league worries about that. So the whistle could change over time. But right now, it's pretty physical.
I understand all of these arguments. And I do think the pitcher example is a great one. Because if you go to a baseball game and you had a starting pitcher, you watch Sandy Koufax pitch for 9 innings, and now we're in an era where the starting pitchers, the stars, are pitching 5. You do feel shortchanged a little bit, but that's progress in sports. That's how it works. But on the other side of it, if I'm a fan, maybe from a different city, or I'm watching a player come to my town for the first time, I get to watch Steph Curry.
Or you travel thousands of miles from another country.
Thousands of dollars, and you get there and that guy isn't playing. I do think that there's an argument to be made that the fans should be taken into account here.
I feel like, and the league probably wouldn't love this narrative, but like the dirty little secret is that the fans in the arena, like, it is a very flawed experience. And the league's focus from a business building standpoint obviously extends well beyond the arena. It would be great if the ticket was $50 and you could be like, oh, that's a bummer that Steph Curry didn't play tonight. Well, the ticket's not $50. It's a whole lot of cash. And so I don't blame any fans for being furious. I also see the logic if Steph's not feeling good and he's got some concern that he's going to sit.
I want to zoom in a little bit. Eric Koreen had a great article in The Athletic just about how painfully long the last 10 seconds of that Thunder Spurs game were in the NBA Cup. And so this idea of late game fouling, intentional fouling, he was really zeroing in on fouling up 3, which extends the game in a way that makes it kind of unwatchable. Where are we at, Zena, about just how long and how herky-jerky, kind of sluggish these end-of-game situations feel in the NBA?
Yeah, it sucks for the flow of the game. I was in this arena for that game with the Thunder and Spurs, and I remember standing up. As a media member, you're not supposed to be like bought into the game like that, but I became a fan at that moment. And I didn't care who I was cheering for. I was so about it. I vividly remember finding myself slowly getting back down in the seat because it ended up being a competition of free throw routines. Like, who's got the best dribble, who's got the best follow through, because it came down to that.
There have been solutions, like kind of radical solutions. They tried it in the G League. They've done it other places where there's a target score at the end of the game. And so you remove just this very strange, again, just kind of really dense feeling at the end of these games, but then you lose buzzer beaters. And so it feels like there's potentially like a middle ground to be found here, Sam. So what do you think is the right solution for how we're handling end of game situations where you get those moments, but you also don't make Zena sit back down in her chair?
I mean, I can relate to her story, first of all, because I was in Vegas, but I didn't go to the Spurs Thunder game. And I'm watching that game on TV with my 16-year-old. And it was so fascinating to see him because when it was, the last couple minutes, he's all about it. He's engaged. He does not get engaged on NBA basketball that often. And like you said, your version of sitting down, losing interest, all of a sudden I look over there, he's on his phone, like, man, I lost it. And that was it. And I'm sitting there watching. That's exactly why it's a problem for the league. That being said, I don't know the solution because the Elam ending, which is what you're talking about, you get rid of the clock, you have a target score, let's say it's 100 points, and it's just the first team to that score wins. Takes away the fouling, takes away the clock. That's where the debate is. But that is most often the possible solution that gets brought up. If you go back to 2020, they integrated that into the All-Star game in Chicago, and it worked for a year. And that was it. Like, they kept doing it after that. It kind of lost its luster. It, go back to integrity of the game and things like that. I don't want to lose shot clock buzzers.
That feels too radical.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's too far removed. But let's just...
You're not just coaching basketball, you're coaching against the clock too. Like, that's part of the game.
It should still feel like basketball as we understand.
Yeah.
I think, and maybe this is too radical, I do not think you should be able to intentionally foul while winning the game in the final 2 minutes.
I agree.
Because I think that leads to the situations that we're talking about.
To me, like, watching a player not be able to shoot free throws, I think it's like, it speaks to talent evaluation, it speaks to roster.
Oh, you like the drama?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I like watching someone being put in a position of pressure and us saying, we know that you can't handle this moment, like that kind of cat and mouse game.
I'll be honest with you. I learn something new about you every day. I didn't see you be in the free throw contest guy. That surprises me.
Listen, in that moment, You know, and maybe it's because of PTSD I have from, junior high and grade school, missing so many free throws. But
You just sparked mine. I missed one in middle school.
Right?
Game on the line.
There are very few moments where you can put yourself in the body of a 24-year-old millionaire who's sitting there like, oh my goodness, everybody is watching this, and it comes down to this moment, and we're in the middle of December. We're not talking playoffs, too, right? So it adds to the stakes as well.
So for our main story, we want to talk about the generational shift that's happening in the NBA. We know the LeBrons of the world, the Stephen Currys, KDs, they can't play forever. And it's time to pass the baton. So who better to speak to about the changing of the guard than someone that's coached all three of them and more, Steve Kerr. So Steve was nice enough to sit down with me. We went to Chase Center in San Francisco, had a beautiful look of the Bay. And this was an exclusive interview, okay? We also got a camera crew into practice. Only cameras that were allowed there the whole day. Behind the scenes peek of what's going on with the Warriors in general, but got to see a little bit more about what Steve Kerr is thinking about his own future as well as the future of the league. So let's take a look. Let's start with the shift in the NBA. LeBron 41, Steph 37, KD as well 37. You've gotten to coach all of these guys, whether it's been in the league, whether it's been at the Team USA level, Olympic level, and you've gotten to see their regimen and the way that they take care of their bodies. What is it that you've particularly picked up on that maybe was different from when you played or just in general impresses you the most?
Well, Michael Jordan was probably the first guy to ever have his own private trainer, back in the mid-90s. Now every player on our roster has a private trainer, pretty much,
Yeah.
But when you start thinking about the money these guys are making, especially the guys at the top, LeBron and Steph, it's really no big deal for them to hire as many people as they want to help them with their body, their mind, their training. And so when you combine that with the knowledge that we have, when I talk to our training staff, what they know now compared to 15 years ago is so extreme, so dramatic. And the only guys who keep going and play at a high level are the ones who love what they do. Tom Brady is a great example. When you are obsessed with your craft, with what you're doing, you're putting all your time and effort and money into it. If you're talented on top of all that, then these days you can keep going till 40 or longer, and it didn't used to be that way.
I know, the Grim Reaper's trying to knock on the door, and these athletes like, not yet, not yet. What was your perspective when you saw the changing of the guard? You had already racked up 5 titles. What was your mindset when you made that decision to retire?
Well, the mindset for me was my knees are killing me. It's time.
That sounds like me every morning. But
yeah. It was just time. But, it was probably a lot easier for me because I played 15 years. That was 15 more than I ever thought I would play. I never thought I'd play in the NBA. So there was just a sense of gratitude that I had even, been able to play in the NBA. But when it was time, it was time.
So between Team USA, the Spurs, right, the Bulls, and the Warriors, I feel like you're a dynasty expert. I feel like you're the guy we should be asking.
I even played with the Celtics in the 60s with Bob Cousy. I don't know if you knew that.
We were
backcourt mates.
We gotta add that to the list. There we go. But I know some folks feel a different way about the word dynasty, but for what we've seen in terms of success in these teams that you've been a part of, what does it feel like to be in a dynasty? When do you realize, oh snap, guys, we're dynastic, right? And also, when do you realize when it's closing?
Yeah, it's a great question. And all three of those organizations that I was lucky enough to be part of, each case was a little different. With the Bulls, they were already a dynasty. They had won 3 in a row. So I knew I was joining a dynasty. And when it ended, everyone knew it ended. I don't know if you know this, they did a documentary called The Last Dance. The Spurs, I don't know that I even knew I was part of a dynasty while I was there because, we won 2 championships, 99 and 03. I retired. And the dynasty really happened after that. And it was a different kind of dynasty. It was sustained success over multiple years. And then this one sort of snuck up on us. We didn't really know. But once it did, we knew we were in the middle of it. And that was pretty cool.
What do you think it's going to take for the Warriors dynasty chapter to close?
Well, it is closing. As we speak, we just don't know exactly when it's going to end. And what we're hanging on to is the idea that we still have something left in the tank. And if all the pieces fall into place, we think we have a shot. And so we're trying to get one more. Can I just add one thing?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the attempt when you're in it that is the most important thing. Obviously, we all, rings culture, we all focus on who won, but there is something beautiful in the fight, in the quest. And because we love it so much, because we love what we do, there really is a beauty in the journey to hang in there and maybe reach the top of the mountain one more time. But if we don't, and chances are we won't, like we are not, we're not a favorite to do it. But if we don't, and we still gave it the effort and had this experience together, that's worth a lot. But we all know inside what that journey means to us.
Yeah. Stephen Curry was asked about the likelihood that he would play to 40. He alluded to the ability of making that decision himself before the decision was made for him being a crucial point in that. How often do people have the privilege to make that decision?
The vast majority of players either leave because of injury or because the team no longer wants them. And I worry about a lot of guys who retire and aren't sure what to do with themselves and spend years sometimes figuring out what to do with the rest of their lives when they're only, maybe 30, 35 years old. That's a big burden.
Were you trying to figure things out when you've been a TV broadcaster for TNT? You've been a GM, you've been a part owner before, my favorite fun fact, you've been a color commentator on NBA 2K.
That's right.
You've kind of dabbled in all of it. And then, of course, being a coach now, thinking about your situation. Of course, contracts coming up at the end of the year. The end line is coming for you, too. When you think about 5 years from now, let's say Stephen, Draymond, they've hung up their shoes. What does it look like for you to figure that out?
Yeah, it's a great question. I was lucky when I retired from playing. I didn't go through that because I went right into broadcasting. TNT offered me a job. I took it. I enjoyed it. I had young kids. So I'm raising a family, still involved in the NBA and enjoying my life. I never went through that. I think I might go through that when I retire from coaching because it's going to be a much more difficult transition for me. But I don't know what I'm going to do. And that's a kind of an uneasy feeling inside because I've basically known what I wanted to do and what I've been able to do my entire life. And whenever I decide to call it quits coaching-wise, I will definitely have an interesting, hopefully not too difficult transition, but it will be a major transition for me.
It's an existential question to ask of yourself.
It is.
It really is. And I think of the fact that you've got your son, Nick Kerr, on your team, on your staff right now, and it feels as if you're passing the torch, but with Nick being on the staff and you seeing the development that you've allowed other coaches, is there any desire to kind of stay around for that?
In what capacity?
In a coaching capacity, maybe going somewhere where you rebuild and start anew with a new version of a Stephen Curry.
Yeah, first of all, I will never leave Steph Curry. I can tell you that.
I love that, of course.
Remember,
this in the hypothetical, he's retired.
He's retired at this point.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I think the one thing that I think will take me out of coaching is the travel. Honestly, the number of late night flights and 3 a.m. arrivals and
having to talk to us, the media, before you do that too.
Yeah, you guys. But no, it's hard to say. I mean, I don't see myself just quitting coaching after this year, but there will come a time where there's going to have to be some decisions made. Warriors, myself, my family, what we want to do, and all of that. So that's fine. That's coming at some point.
Okay. I want to go ahead and start moving forward. And one of my favorite quotes, Draymond Green, of course. He's not shy with his words, but I'll read this quote to you. Steve is Steph's guy. So even if there ever was a thought in regarding to you leaving or letting you go, it don't work. You speak to the Tim and Pop thing. That's his guy. You see MJ like, if Phil ain't here, I ain't here. It's along the same lines. There's no Steph without Steve.
Oh my gosh.
Oof, that's a big one.
Yeah, I think Draymond is actually wrong on that. There's Steph without me, for sure.
Oh,
he
okay.
was going to be great no matter what.
All right, last question for you. It's the holidays. New Year's is coming up. I'm not a resolutions girly. I feel like it's just too limiting. You know what I mean? So I want to think more broadly. As you watch this sport evolve, you think of the imprint that you've had on it. What's left to do for you? What else do you want to get done?
Well, I don't have a bucket list. I don't have, a list of things that I have to accomplish and then I'll be happy. I don't think life works that way.
Yeah.
A wise man once said, "Life happens while we're making plans," and I believe that. And so, my life is my family, my dog, my kids, my granddaughters, and I love life. I love what I do every day, and I just want to continue to enjoy myself and enjoy the people around me, and hopefully be a productive member of society.
60's young, Steve.
Yeah, I got some time.
I got some time to go. Well, we appreciate you sitting down with us. And
all right. Thank
talking
you,
about
Zena.
the generational shift. This was great.
Appreciate it.
Of course. So, looks like Steve Kerr feels pretty good about the future of the league, but I was interested in more what he had to say for his own career.
Me too, Zena. Like, like we're in the same part of the country. I'm around Steve a lot. I had already been of the opinion that, having a contract that you're choosing to allow to expire. Steve, at any point in time, could walk into Joe Lacob's office, the Warriors owner, and talk extension. He's choosing not to do that. Steve, to me, in your very candid, revealing interview, sounds like a guy who is seriously contemplating what comes after this season. And if I'm leaning one way right now, if the Warriors fall short like they are right now on a regular basis, I think that's a pretty fair question if he's going to be back.
Yeah, I mean, you could see even the pause he was taking. It was hard for him to find the words to figure out what that next step is.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit off camera, but he was saying how much he enjoyed his time as a broadcaster. So that might not be out of the cards for him, but overall, he does have a lot to contemplate. So as we heard from Steve Kerr, inevitable change is coming to the NBA, right? Stephen Curry has actually referred to himself before as the Unks.
There will be games when, all of the Unks are out and they're going to have to step up. So you want to be able to fill that gas tank as well. So it is huge.
So you are our Unks now? Is that how you guys are being referred to in the locker room?
I'll lean into it for right now.
I like to call it the unction that's happening over at the Warriors. At some point, the unction's got to, at the unction, the uncle's got to take a seat, get their drink on. Who's manning the grill? Okay. Do we think the league is in good hands with the Unks taking a seat soon?
I say yes. I mean, I think it's so notable that SGA is having the season he's having from a statistical standpoint, the team's success. And at the same time, we still know Nikola Jokic is probably the best player in the NBA. Like, that just speaks to the quality at the top, that somebody could be having an all-time MVP type season statistically, but we still know there are the Lukas and the Nikola Jokic's out there that might even be better players at this stage.
I'm down with it. I'm down with everything, the passing of the baton. I am worried, though, about American basketball.
I was just going to say, it's the perspective of where you're looking from.
I'm worried about American basketball in a way that I haven't been in a long time. Like, when the Dream Team went over and did their thing in Barcelona, it opened the eyes of a new generation that we're seeing now. This is the cultivation of all that activity, that motion, right? But Zion hasn't panned out the way that we thought he would coming out of Duke. John Morant has had his issues in Memphis, and I think the game is being played in a way that is beautiful to watch and is representative of the world. But as far as American basketball is concerned, hanging your hat on Cooper Flagg and some of these other guys that are coming out of the draft here soon, there's a lot of really good players, but I think American basketball still has to be propped up a little bit.
It's a great point.
Yeah. I love where the league's at because I know the American thing is going to work itself out. Cooper is a hell of a project, by the way. He's doing some incredible things lately at 18 years old. We talked earlier about the league trying to globalize. So what better way that, let's put the American thing on the side for a minute. Haven't had an MVP in a while that wasn't, not American, but with Wemby, Luka, SGA, these guys doing it while Steph and LeBron are still around. That's the part I love because it's not going to last forever, But the idea that you can have the ascension of the young stars coming at a time when those old heads are still doing it at this level, even though they're getting sciatica and things like that. That runway's not that long, but I'm loving it because you have the two generations absolutely competing together at the same time. It's kind of neat.
These 20-year careers used to be once in a while. Now they're pretty common. I think we expect a lot of these guys. And the longer you play too, like the more likelihood you have of going out, you know, in a tough way. So it'll be interesting to see how the NBA transitions here.
That's exactly why Stephen said he would want to make that decision for himself. First, I'll tell you what, if I was to answer it for Adam Silver, I think he's very, very happy with the state of the league right now. Sam, thank you so much for chilling with us.
This was great.
Talking NBA Cup, NBA with us. We'll definitely have you back very soon.
Love it. Thanks, guys.
All right, I'd like to give both of you something for the holidays, if that's okay.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
I like stuff.
Is it cool?
I love stuff. I love
All right,
gifts.
Go ahead and No, I'm just saying, it's the gift of learning. It's the gift of learning. I apologize.
That's fine.
That's
it's a little
fine.
disappointing, but
Right.
we'll take it.
Hey, man, you know, we love
A little underwhelming,
with an
but-
added bonus. It feels good on top of that.
feel good.
It's
It
a
does
double
feel good.
gift. That work for y'all?
It does.
All right, let's do it. Let's jump into our weekly segment we like to call LFG.
Yes, Black
Learning
Santa.
feels good. You know how it works. I'll give you a number, and you have to guess what it's referring to. You said you're ready, so let's do it. The number is 21.
21.
Is it A, the amount of consecutive seasons the Gonzaga men's basketball team has had a winning record? Shout out to Mark Few. Is it B, the amount of points Ole Miss is favored by over Tulane for this weekend's first round of the CFP, the college football playoffs? Is it C, the number of rebounds Mitchell Robinson had for the Knicks against the Spurs in the NBA Cup final? He was crashing the offensive boards. Or D, the height in meters of the new Lionel Messi statue unveiled in India?
Okay, so it's definitely not C.
I knew you could eliminate C quickly,
Yeah,
so I like
he had
that.
15.
Okay. 21 is crazy. Even for like a lower level program like Tulane, I can't imagine Ole Miss.
That seems disrespectful.
21 meters in feet is like 73 feet, right? Right?
So all I remember about this whole statue situation and the unveiling was that there were very upset people in India because they could not see Lionel Messi. And like they went crazy, basically tearing apart the park because they were so upset. And I feel like
What statue reveals have gone well? How many good statue reveals have there been recently?
I'm gonna go with A.
The answer is D. If you can believe it, Lionel Messi took a tour of India, and one of the moments on that
That's
tour
crazy.
featured an unveiling of a statue that was 21 meters high. Like you mentioned, that's just shy of 70 feet. The
Shout out to the
Athletic
metric
Dan
system.
Sheldon wrote about Messi's recent tour of India, which was chaotic to say the least.
Yeah.
But there will always be a reminder of the visit with this enormous statue.
All I can remember.
Thank God for that. Soccer fame is different fame.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is tear down arenas if you don't get to see them kind of fame.
It's pop star.
It's a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ah,
More Michael
Yeah, it's
Jackson.
Beatles fame.
Yeah, fame. Yeah,
absolutely.
for real. So shout
All
out
right,
to
guys.
Messi and his big statue.
Thank you, Black Santa, for the gift of learning.
And a bottle of Mo.
And that is going to be it from us closing out the year. Shout out to Steve Kerr and the Warriors for that exclusive access. We appreciate that. Appreciate Sam Amick coming in, giving us the NBA insights he's got. Excited to have him back for the trade deadline. And remember, you can find new episodes of The Athletic Show every Saturday on Fire TV. And head on over to theathletic.com for more of the world's best sports journalism. We're going to take a little mini holiday break, okay? But we'll be back on January 10th. And until then, we'll see you next time. Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays.